Welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for everybody that's watched the first 3 Sherlock Tones videos. In number 4 we're covering minor scales. So major scales always go tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. We have a slightly darker, more mysterious flavour available to us, and that's called the minor scales. Now you're going to have to find out about 3 different types. First off, we have this kind of scale, which is called a natural minor. And then closely related to it, we have something called the harmonic minor, which sounds like this. And then the last minor scale you need to know about is called the melodic minor. You'll notice that this one is slightly different on the way up and then different on the way down as well. Okay then, the natural minor. Some of you might have noticed that's just white keys going up and down, and you're thinking, didn't C major do that? You are absolutely correct, but now we're changing the focus, our home note, we call it the tonic, to A instead of being C. They are related obviously, and we call that the relative. A minor is the relative minor of C major. What does change is the patterns of tones and semitones. So in a major scale, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, you'll notice here we get a tone between notes 1 and 2, but then when we go from 2 to 3 we get a semitone. Let me just show you. So there's the semitone, remembering that between B and C there's no black note, so they're the nearest possible notes together there, they're a semitone. Right, let's run that all the way up and you'll get tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone. For the sheet you complete it exactly the same way. You go letters of the alphabet, make sure that column 8 looks the same as column 1, and then I've written out the pattern of tones and semitones for you. You need to imagine you are holding the notes down on the keyboard, which should be frozen on the screen in front of you now, and then checking. Physically point to them. Some students have been in contact about Sherlock's Tones 1s, 2 and 3 and said that they've been actually playing them on their instruments. Of course, that is the genius thing to do, because then your ear will tell you if you're right as well. So let's just demonstrate how you are going to do this. You should be able to see the table underneath, starting on a D. Columns 1 to 2 says it needs to be a tone, so you check, physically point to them, physically say them out loud. D to E. We've got 1 semitone plus another semitone, that equals a tone, no problems at all. Columns 2 to 3 needs to be a semitone. On the sheet, if you've written out the alphabet correctly, it will say E to F. E to F, semitone. No black note between them. They're as close as they can be, semitone. 3 to 4 needs to be a tone. We've got the letters written out, F to G, if you've used your alphabet. So we've got 1 semitone plus another semitone equals a tone. Absolutely fine. Nothing to do there. Right. Next letter is A, columns 4 to 5 needs to be a tone. That's definitely a tone. Next column is 5 to 6. You'll see that it needs to be a semitone. You should have written out A and B because you've done your alphabet. Now here's where the issue is. Column 5 was correct because we got there first, but we haven't got a semitone. A to B is a tone. So what you need to do is add the correct symbol there to make sure that B is 1 semitone away from A. You should have done this in Sherlock Tones 3, but that's how you're going to solve all of these problems. minors are slightly different, you'll see that note number 7 is different in the example on your sheet. There's a G sharp. In the natural minor, it's a G natural. We use harmonic minor scales to work out harmonies. So you should see the relationship between the two words, harmonies, therefore we use the harmonic minor scale. Some people also use it melodically. It's cropping up quite a lot in movies at the moment because it's quite scary sounding. And one of the reasons why it sounds scary is because we've got what we call an augmented second interval. Now that sounds really, really terrifying, but it's not too bad. An augmented second interval is where we go one semitone, plus another semitone, plus another semitone. Now, that's different to a minor third for those of you who know a little bit about this, because the two letters are going to be next to each other, adjacent to each other in the alphabet. So we would write F to F sharp. So on your sheet you will be seeing the 2 plus symbol. I mean augmented second. The formula for it, one semitone plus one semitone plus another semitone. As ever, if you are not spelling your alphabet correctly, your scale might sound right, but look wrong when you're reading it written down on the stave. The last kind of scale you need is the melodic minor. This one's interesting because it goes up one way, ascends, and then it descends slightly differently. So, sounds like this. And you'll notice that it's very similar to the harmonic and natural minors. In the first set of notes is exactly the same. And then we get to 6 and 7, the F and the G in A minor. We have the same 6th and 7th as we do from A major. We finish on the octave, and then when we descend, we use the same notes as the natural minor. So here's what it sounds like. When you're writing this out, you've got to pay close attention to two things. One is the pattern of tones and semitones. As ever, make sure you put your alphabet in as you go from columns 1 to 8. Go up the alphabet in the normal way. But when we do this descending, you'll notice I've written the columns backwards, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Make sure you put the alphabet in backwards. So in A, that would be A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. You still have to pay attention to the tones and semitones. You will have done tones and semitones going up and down if you did Sherlock Tones 1 and 2. So there isn't anything here which you haven't done before, but it's coupling all the little skills together which is going to be tricky. As ever, stick to your alphabet, you'll be absolutely fine. In the next video, Sherlock Tones 5, which would be the final one in this series, we'll talk about making these scales, both major and minor, into chords. Thank you very much for watching all of these videos. Like and subscribe, all that kind of stuff. I really enjoy making the pieces for you. I hope you like the music as well. And I will see you after lockdown. Stay safe, everybody.